YouTube. So, what do I need to talk about? The weather. I live in the desert. I moved here for work. Basically, my grandmother and my grandfather moved down here a long time ago, and they bought a house, and when they passed away, they left it to my parents. And when I graduated, I grew up in the Midwest in Chicago, and I moved to California for grad school, and then I moved here for work / to be closer to family for a little while. And it's so funny how you get used to being in certain climates. I've forgotten all about how much I really love rain and clouds and things of this nature. I also grew up in a place, Chicago, the winter comes, it's just cloudy all the time, and you actually like the clouds better because when it gets like real cold, then all the clouds go away in wintertime, and then it's like -40 and like the water in your eyes freezes and it's awful. But since I moved to the desert, like the winters are fantastic. Like it's right now like 75 degrees and sunny, and I have a little bit of an oasis going on here. Like I have trees and I have some grass, but there's also just a bunch of desert plants, and it really just gets to the point where I don't like it as much. I don't find as much sacredness in the desert, and I had to like really kind of work through that now because I've lived here for a little over a year. Yeah, it's still nature though, right? Like it's not anti-nature, it's just a different type of nature. I think a lot of times when we think of nature, we think of the trees, the forest, like those old things you kind of see in fairy tales type of deal. And that's not all of nature. Nature is very vast and different and diverse. Like you got deserts, you got tundras, you got rainforests, and then you've got like grasslands and everything else in between. Like there's so much different things when it comes to what nature actually is. And so for me, I've been struggling a lot with the desert and trying to find time to like really appreciate it. Yes, amore. Little kitty? I say hello. So I've been struggling a lot with that. I don't know how I feel about it as much, especially with like it's Christmas time and it's really hard for me. I went to San Francisco, it was a little hard to deal with the seasons and all that, because it's not as drastic as it was in Chicago. It wasn't as like fall definitely came and then winter definitely came, as opposed to in San Francisco it was a little harder to tell the difference from time to time just because climates are different. But here it's really hard, really hard. It didn't even get cold here at all until like November, and by cold I mean like it dropped from like 100 or whatever to finally like 80s degrees. And now again it's like 70 degrees here, so like if you wake up real early you'll get a little bit of a chill with 50 degrees, but that's about it. So it's really hard to kind of like get into that quote-unquote festive season with like, oh, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's like, not really. At least not that like cliched version of it, right? I mean, I love spending time outside. I love that I can actually go outside now and not melt, but I definitely really struggle with not having that Midwestern type of Christmas, because that's just what I grew up with. So it's hard for me to really wrap my mind around it. And also is where like other witches talk about, oh, I'm gonna go walk in woods, I'm gonna go walk in nature, and like I have pieces of places in Phoenix where I go to walk, try to take it all in, but I really I don't like walking. Like I've gone on hikes before in the desert and I just don't like it. I used to hike a lot and go camping a lot in Chicago and in California. California didn't do so much camping because bears and like I've never dealt with that before, and I was like, I'm not gonna be by myself and there's a bear. But I did go on a lot of hikes. I would like just like go out and either walk around little bodies of water, or I would walk a lot more around. And here I just don't, one because it's like not as much of a walkable city, Phoenix, but also it's just like there's no nature I really want to be around. I don't really want to see all the cacti and all that as much. I'm grateful that it is kind of nice out. My parents have a little oasis garden. I think I did like a little tour of that. I might pop it up here for you guys to see. That's really nice to walk around, but really that's the only place I really find joy. If you go up into Arizona, into like Flagstaff, it's really nice up there. It's suddenly like the climate entirely changes because of the altitude. So then pine trees are everywhere and it's a totally different feel. And that's really nice, and I like to escape up there when I can. I have thoughts to move possibly, simply because while I do enjoy a lot of parts of Phoenix and Arizona in general, I'm not finding a huge amount of joy in it. Like I like my job and I like my apartment, I like a lot of the things, but I don't love them, and I really want to create a world that I love before I start settling down or anything else elsewhere. You can't really predict where life is gonna have you end up, but I don't think I'd be happy here long term if I ended up here. And I think a lot of that has to do with the weather and the lack of seasons. I really miss the seasons changing, and having less of it in San Francisco and now like almost none of it here in Arizona, I realize I probably do want to move back to some place that's got really great rain and seasons changing, possible leaves changing type of deal. Like I want that again. So that is definitely something I'm exploring, and we'll see what comes of that. But anyone else be in environment you're just like, nope, it doesn't do it for me. Especially when you've tried really hard. You're like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna try to find the magic, and I'm gonna try to find the reverence that I have for this place. I do have to say, I have huge respect for the sun. Like, I beg the sun now. I'm like, please just go away for a bit. Please just be cooler. Please just, oh. And the darkness. I have a whole new respect for the dark because it brings the cold. Those two things now, and their polarity are so evident to me living here, and the sacredness of both of them and the power of both of them really have become evident to me here. So that's kind of a nice lesson to learn. I see the power in them a lot. But anyway, I have a new series that is starting up on Sunday, so you guys will enjoy that, and I will see you then. Bye.